Imagine waking up one morning with a mind sharper than you ever dreamed possible. Every word you hear suddenly carries hidden meanings. Every gesture from another person reveals unspoken intentions. The world appears clearer, more transparent, as if someone handed you the key to reality itself. At first, this feels like a gift. You feel powerful, awakened, even superior. But slowly, something darker creeps in. You notice that what once made you laugh now seems trivial. Conversations that once felt warm now feel shallow. The innocence of ignorance, the comfort of not knowing, is gone forever. This is the hidden paradox of intelligence. Society praises intelligence as the greatest blessing, yet those who truly embody it often discover that it carries unbearable weight. Today we turn to Agnes Callard, one of today's most provocative philosophers, to uncover why intelligence may not be the blessing you thought it was, but a burden that steals joy, simplicity, and belonging. This video is divided into 7 parts. But before we go further, let's begin with the foundation, Part 1, the false promise of intelligence, and Part 2, the loneliness of awareness. These 2 stages will reveal why intelligence does not free us, it traps us. Part 1, the false promise of intelligence. From childhood, we are conditioned to worship intelligence. The child who solves math problems quickly is praised as gifted. The teenager who uses sophisticated words is called brilliant. Parents boast of test scores. Teachers spotlight the brightest. And society whispers a promise. If you are intelligent, your life will be better. But Agnes Callard challenges this illusion. She reminds us that intelligence is not simply a tool for success. It reshapes the very way you exist in the world. The intelligent person sees what others cannot. That sounds empowering, until you realize that what you now see is not always beauty or clarity, but the hidden cracks in everything. Take happiness. For many, happiness comes from simple beliefs: that life has meaning, that love is forever, that good triumphs over evil. But intelligence tears down these illusions. The intelligent person analyzes happiness, dissects it, asks whether joy is merely a chemical reaction, whether love is a temporary hormonal trick, whether good and evil are just social constructions. While others bask in comfort, the intelligent stand outside, questioning, doubting, unable to rest. Imagine 2 friends sitting under a sunset. One simply feels wonder, the colors, the warmth, the stillness. The other, more intelligent, cannot help but think about atmospheric scattering, the physics of light, or even the fact that the sun will eventually burn out. Which of them truly experiences the sunset? Which one is at peace? This is the false promise of intelligence. It equips you with sharper perception but strips away the sweet illusions that make life bearable. Intelligence gives you knowledge but denies you comfort. It lets you pierce through appearances. But once illusions are gone, there is no way to bring them back. The child who believed in Santa Claus may one day discover the truth, but that same child will never again know the joy of innocent wonder. Agnes Callard argues that this is the price of intelligence. Once you begin to think deeply, you cannot return to the simplicity you left behind. The intelligent are like exiles who can never go home. Part 2, the loneliness of awareness. If intelligence steals the comfort of illusion, it also steals the comfort of belonging. To be intelligent is not only to see differently, but to live differently. And in this difference, a wall rises between you and the world. The intelligent person often feels like a stranger even among friends. Where others are satisfied with small talk, jokes, and routine conversation, the intelligent person aches for depth, for meaning, for truth. But when they try to share these thoughts, they are often met with confusion, dismissal, or even hostility. What excites the intelligent? Abstract ideas, hidden patterns, uncomfortable truths, often alienates those who cannot or will not follow. Agnes Callard points to the philosopher's fate as a model for this condition. Socrates was condemned not because he was evil, but because his intelligence exposed truths that society preferred to ignore. Kierkegaard spent his life isolated, misunderstood, even ridiculed, precisely because he saw too much. Nietzsche died alone and broken, his brilliance unappreciated in his time. These thinkers were not rejected despite their intelligence, they were rejected because of it. This loneliness is not simply social, it is existential. The intelligent person realizes that much of human life is built on shared illusions, stories we tell each other to feel secure. Religion, patriotism, romance, even morality, all are woven from narratives that hold communities together. But once intelligence exposes these narratives as fragile constructions, the intelligent individual can no longer fully participate. They stand at the edge of the group, half in and half out, aware of the play but unable to act their role convincingly. Imagine being at a celebration where everyone is dancing joyfully to music. You cannot hear. You can see the rhythm moving through them. You can observe the patterns. You can even understand the technicalities of the dance. But you cannot feel it. You remain an observer, not a participant. That is the loneliness of intelligence, always watching, rarely belonging. Agnes Callard reminds us that the human longing for connection is universal. We crave to be understood, to share our inner world with another. But the more intelligent you are, the more complex your inner world becomes, and the fewer people there are who can meet you there. In this sense, intelligence does not expand your circle, it narrows it. You end up with fewer friends, fewer confidants, fewer moments of genuine communion. Thus, intelligence carries a hidden cost. It deepens awareness but isolates the soul. You may understand the world more profoundly, but you will also feel more profoundly apart from it. So in these opening parts, we have already uncovered two devastating truths. First, that intelligence robs us of the illusions that make life joyful. And second, that it separates us from the comfort of belonging. This is only the beginning. In the next parts, we will see how intelligence not only steals happiness and connection, but also creates anxiety, magnifies suffering, and even undermines our very sense of purpose. But before we continue to the next section, pause and reflect. Would you still choose intelligence, knowing that it can take away the very things that make life worth living? Part 3. The anxiety of endless possibilities. To be intelligent is not only to see the world clearly, but also to see the countless possibilities hidden within it. The average person accepts the world as it is, making choices based on habit or convenience. But the intelligent mind cannot stop itself from imagining alternatives, endless paths, branching in every direction, each one carrying its own weight of consequences. Agnes Callard often speaks about aspiration, the idea that human beings are constantly reaching for things they do not yet fully understand. But in an intelligent mind, aspiration mutates into torment. Instead of moving confidently toward one future, the intelligent person hesitates, questions, rethinks. Every decision becomes a battlefield of uncertainty. Consider something as simple as choosing a career. The average person picks a stable job, perhaps based on family advice or social expectations, and they move forward. The intelligent person, however, sees an ocean of complexity, the moral implications of the industry, the long-term psychological impact, The hidden economic forces shaping the workplace, the philosophical meaning of dedicating one's life to labor, what others treat as a simple step forward. Intelligence transforms into a labyrinth with no exit. This endless awareness breeds anxiety. For the intelligent, nothing is ever just what it appears to be. Every choice, no matter how small, contains layers of hidden meaning. Something as simple as buying a cup of coffee might trigger thoughts about global trade, exploitation of farmers, climate change, consumer culture, and the moral weight of indulgence. How can one live freely when every act opens the door to such overwhelming awareness? Here lies the third curse of intelligence. It multiplies possibilities until every choice becomes paralyzing. Far from freeing you, intelligence chains you to hesitation, doubt, and regret. The world becomes too vast, too complicated, too heavy to bear. Part 4. The amplification of suffering. Human beings are fragile, and suffering is part of our nature. Everyone experiences loss, grief, betrayal, and disappointment. But intelligence deepens suffering in ways that most people cannot imagine. The intelligent mind does not merely feel pain. It analyzes it, interprets it, magnifies it. If an ordinary person experiences heartbreak, they feel sorrow, perhaps cry, and eventually heal. The intelligent person, however, turns heartbreak into philosophy. They wonder whether love itself is an illusion, whether human beings are doomed to loneliness, whether connection is ever truly possible. Instead of healing, their mind reopens the wound again and again, cutting deeper each time. Agnes Callard explains that intelligent reflection often transforms private pain into universal despair. A small disappointment becomes evidence of the futility of human desire. A single injustice becomes proof that morality is a fragile illusion. What others dismiss as just life, the intelligent interpret as a cosmic revelation about suffering itself. Think of the writer Franz Kafka. His intelligence allowed him to dissect the alienation of modern life with terrifying precision. But that same gift trapped him in despair, leaving him isolated, tortured, and ultimately broken. Or consider Nietzsche, whose brilliance gave us piercing insights into human nature but also drove him into madness. Intelligence does not simply notice suffering, it intensifies it until the world itself seems unbearable. This is why intelligent people often struggle with depression and existential dread. They do not only feel their pain, they feel the pain of humanity, the weight of history, the inevitability of tragedy. Where others can distract themselves with entertainment or faith, the intelligent remain awake, unable to escape. Thus, the fourth hidden truth emerges. Intelligence does not protect us from suffering, it makes us suffer more. By giving us deeper awareness, it forces us to carry heavier burdens than the average person will ever know. Part 5. The collapse of purpose. At the core of every human life lies a question: why am I here? For most people, answers come easily. Religion tells them they are children of God. Society tells them their purpose is to contribute to family, work, and community. Culture provides ready-made stories about success, honor, and happiness. These stories may not be true in a philosophical sense, but they give people direction. Intelligence, however, destroys these stories. The intelligent person cannot accept simple answers. They see through the comforting myths of religion, the shallow promises of consumerism, the illusions of national pride. Where others find purpose in tradition, the intelligent find contradiction, hypocrisy, and emptiness. Agnes Callard notes that intelligence often pulls us into philosophy, precisely because we cannot accept life at face value. But philosophy rarely gives final answers. It gives more questions. The intelligent person begins by searching for meaning, and ends by realizing that meaning itself may be an illusion. Think of Albert Camus, who described life as absurd. The human desire for meaning collides with a universe that offers none. For the average person, this thought might never appear. For the intelligent, it becomes impossible to escape. Every achievement feels temporary. Every goal feels hollow. The harder they search for meaning, the more elusive it becomes. This collapse of purpose can lead to despair. Why strive? Why sacrifice? Why endure suffering, if in the end there is no ultimate why? Without the comfort of illusions, the intelligent face the terrifying possibility that life has no inherent purpose at all. This is the fifth hidden curse. Intelligence strips away purpose and leaves us face to face with the void. While others live happily inside their stories, the intelligent live outside them, watching the play unfold but unable to believe in its script. Part 6. The weight of responsibility. Intelligence does not merely open our eyes to illusions, loneliness, and suffering. It also awakens in us an unbearable sense of responsibility. The more we understand, the more we feel compelled to act. But the intelligent person quickly learns a cruel truth. Awareness does not always translate into power. Agnes Callard often emphasizes that philosophy is not just about knowing, but about striving, about the restless pursuit of what seems out of reach. For the intelligent, this striving becomes a constant burden. They see problems others ignore, the injustice in social systems, the cruelty in human relationships, the destructive path of modern civilization. But even when they recognize these truths, they remain powerless to fix them. This creates a painful contradiction. To be intelligent is to see clearly what must be done, yet to also realize that your capacity to change the world is limited, sometimes non-existent. Imagine watching a ship sink slowly, knowing exactly why it is sinking and how it could be saved, but being trapped on deck with no authority, no tools, no way to intervene. That is the condition of the intelligent, condemned to awareness without agency. The average person can shrug off responsibility by saying, "It's not my problem." But intelligence denies that luxury. It whispers, "You know too much to look away." Thus, the intelligent carry guilt for problems they did not cause, and shame for solutions they cannot deliver. Here lies the sixth hidden curse. Intelligence multiplies responsibility while denying the relief of action. You know more, so you feel more accountable, but in the end, you remain just as powerless as those who never saw the problem at all. Part 7. The curse of restlessness. At the heart of intelligence lies an endless hunger. The intelligent person is never satisfied, never at rest, never able to simply be. Others can find peace in repetition, daily routines, familiar rituals, unexamined beliefs, but the intelligent grow restless in such simplicity. They constantly seek new ideas, new perspectives, new depths of understanding. They cannot stay in one place for long, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Agnes Callard describes this condition as a form of aspiration that never ends. To be intelligent is to live in perpetual incompleteness, always reaching for something just beyond your grasp. Every answer leads to another question. Every truth opens the door to deeper mysteries. The intelligent are like travelers wandering endlessly, never finding a home. This restlessness might sound noble, but it is exhausting. It prevents contentment. It denies closure. Even in moments of success, the intelligent feel only temporary relief, quickly consumed by the next puzzle, the next problem, the next horizon. Think of Leonardo da Vinci, who mastered painting, engineering, anatomy, and countless other fields, yet often left his works unfinished, his mind always racing to the next possibility. Or consider modern intellectuals who publish endlessly, lecture endlessly, debate endlessly, yet confess in private that their search has given them no lasting peace. This is the seventh and final hidden curse. Intelligence condemns you to eternal restlessness, while others find comfort in the simple cycle of life. The intelligent remain forever unsettled, driven forward by a hunger that can never be satisfied. Ending. The hidden truth of intelligence. Now we have reached the end of this journey. We began with society's belief that intelligence is the highest blessing, the ultimate advantage. But through the insights of Agnes Callard, we have uncovered its darker side. In part 1, we saw how intelligence destroys comforting illusions. In part 2, how it isolates us in loneliness. In part 3, how it multiplies possibilities until choices paralyze us. In part 4, how it amplifies suffering instead of relieving it. In part 5, how it strips away the very sense of purpose. In part 6, how it burdens us with impossible responsibility. And in part 7, how it condemns us to eternal restlessness. So why, after all this, do we still pursue intelligence? Why do we still honor it, still crave it, still teach it as if it were salvation? Perhaps because, despite its curses, intelligence also embodies the deepest part of what it means to be human. The refusal to live blindly, the courage to question, the audacity to aspire. Agnes Callard reminds us that philosophy itself is a restless pursuit, that to live intelligently is to accept both the pain and the dignity of never-ending thought. Intelligence may not give us happiness, but it gives us truth. And perhaps in the end, truth is the only thing worth bearing all the burdens we have named today. So ask yourself, would you still choose intelligence, knowing the price it demands? Or would you rather live in the comfort of illusions, in the warmth of belonging, in the peace of ignorance? That is the hidden truth. Intelligence is not a blessing, not a curse, but a path that few would willingly choose if they knew where it truly leads.